It's showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Next Reel Saturday Matinee, our weekly show where the Next Reel team gets together to talk about news, reviews, new trailers, Pete's Pants, and the hotly debated Weekly List Challenge. I'm Mandy Kaplan, and I am here with Pete Wright.
Pants.
Do you think Tommy will be jealous if we take that?
Oh, his
Isn't
pants
he Tommy
are
Pants?
merciless.
Merciless pants. Yeah. And I'm also here with Steve Sarmento.
Welcome.
Say hi to the people, Steve.
Hi to the people, Steve.
Good job. God, I love it when people do what I tell them to do.
It's really delightful.
I know how this show goes. You do what Mandy says and everything goes smoothly. If you don't, then...
I burn your house down.
Exactly.
Yes. So we have a lot of stories to get to, but is there anything you guys are passionate, like I've been watching this amazing thing I want to share, or is there something burning?
I have one.
Yeah.
And it's specifically, it is a reckoning that I need to have with you, specifically about a film that you and I talked about many moons ago that I have now seen, and I want to know if you have seen it. And that movie is Being the Ricardos.
I have not, because I keep hearing bad things.
I know. And I know
I have seen it.
I know,
Yeah.
Steve. And what you didn't like it, is what I understand. Did you like it?
I was...
Yeah.
It was.
a big meh for
I didn't
you.
hate. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. But
Okay.
yeah.
Well, this is a very short conversation then, because I know I didn't. I mean, I quite liked it, but mostly the last time we talked about it, me and Mandy, we got into it a little bit about who was actually playing Lucy. And so I needed to know if you had any thoughts on Nicole Kidman, but it sounds like you have no thoughts because you have abdicated responsibility of seeing that movie.
There was something about it where I thought, yeah, that's Lucy. You know, the footage where they do like the flashbacks to episodes of their, pushing forward in time, like showing clips, the famous clips that everybody's seen, but with Nicole Kidman as Lucy. I thought, yes, that was a passable Lucy and everything. What we get for the most of the story is the behind the scenes Lucille Ball, who is not, the same person. So I think the character, of Lucy, came across well. The other parts, I'm like, this is weird to see, the business side. Yes.
It was very strange. I think I'm an island, and I am just okay with that. I believe that I am an island, really enjoying that movie, enjoying the experience of watching that movie, and I think the performances were great. I actually think it is, I think after Molly's Game, I actually think this is an improvement in terms of our writer-director friend, what's his name? Aaron Sorkin. Yeah, Sorkin. I think this is a Sorkin improvement for me. I think there is a challenge getting into the movie because it is so versed in a character, a caricature of someone that everybody thinks they know. And
Very
it's
familiar,
jarring to see her behind the scenes. But it's a movie that celebrates so many incredible challenges to the entertainment industry. And for that, I really enjoyed watching it. I thought it was solid. So I'm okay.
Good.
I'm okay being an island on that one.
All right. Well, I have a neat segue alert.
Okay.
Because Being the Ricardos garnered Javier Bardem a SAG Award nomination.
Yeah.
And I would like to talk about the SAG Award nominations, which just came out.
Okay.
Right?
No. Yes. I think it's, tis the season for award nominations.
Yes.
It is awards. Yes.
Yeah.
And
here we go.
This is where we start looking at what's going to happen with the Oscars and looking at the other awards that are out there and who's getting nominated to sort of see what the trend is, because I think it's interesting because this has been a weird sort of COVID year, and looking at something like Being the Ricardos, I also saw recently The Eyes of Tammy Faye with Jessica Chastain. And you see these films and you think, this is a project where you look at this and say, I remember, was it last year we had the whole thing about Oscar bait, and what does that mean? Films that are Oscar bait, are there certain roles that are like Oscar bait? Like, we're going to cast this person in this role because this is that performance where they're gonna get a nomination and possibly win an Oscar based on taking on roles of these famous people, and how much can they transform themselves into that, and seeing how well that pays off or not. And so I'm always intrigued by the SAG Award nominations to see what that group is recognizing as some of the top performances of the year.
Yes, and I'm just seeing that Nicole Kidman was in fact nominated. My first scan, I missed that, so I thought it was a snub. Mm-hmm. And I, of course, love the snubs. Want to talk about those more than I want to talk about nominations.
Real high point. Yeah.
But she was in fact nominated.
The thing I can't believe, honestly, the most ridiculous, outstanding performance by a male actor in a supporting role is Jared Leto in House of Gucci. I can't believe he was nominated for that absolute, speaking of caricature, big head carnival performance that he brought to that ridiculous movie. I can't believe it.
I have not seen it, but just from the posters and the previews, he looks like, did you guys see Horrible Bosses, Colin Farrell in that movie?
Yeah.
Who I think is perfection and hilarious. He looks like that. And I'm like, but that's used in a really broad comedy. Yeah. It's not,
Yeah, well, and that whole movie, House of Gucci, like when you listen to what's his name talk, right? He doesn't talk like Leto was doing. You look at the poster and you imagine a tiny body kicking a soccer ball. Like, it is so ridiculous, that performance. It is so like wildly askew from that. That the whole movie is just crazy. I didn't care for it. I did not care for it. Apparently it's not a comedy, but I laughed way too much.
Well, it's embarrassingly looking at this list. I'm like, haven't seen it.
You saw Coda. Tell me you saw Coda.
I love Coda.
Oh my God. Troy Kotsur is amazing. I just
Is he the brother?
That. I thought he was the dad.
The father?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I'm asking. I don't know. But I noticed, and I did see West Side Story, which I loved. I think it's perfection. And Ariana DeBose is deserving of a nomination for sure. But no Rita Moreno. Are you kidding me?
The movie was like a showpiece for honoring her.
Oh, God. She deserves every award in the book for that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I think you're right. I haven't seen Power of the Dog yet. I hear that's another one that I really, really need to see. And Passing is crushing me that I haven't seen Passing yet. Ruth Negga ends up with a supporting role for that. It looks fantastic. So frustrating. Belfast, I just secured the rental for Belfast on Apple TV Plus. This is essentially Kenneth Branagh's youth story, and so I'm excited to watch that. It looks actually quite lovely, and also Belfast. So there's controversy. Can't wait to be able to talk more thoroughly about that movie.
I was happy to see, and please forgive me if I mispronounce the name, Jung Ho Yeon from Squid Game. It's a great performance.
I don't think you're saying that. I'm almost sure it's Squid Games. Isn't that where we landed?
How dare you? And now that I'm looking, Jung Ho Yeon is a female, so it's not the main guy from Squid Game.
No.
Who does she play?
You would know.
Because I watched one Squid Game, Steve.
Right. I haven't seen any Squid Game.
What?
I haven't watched it.
Oh my goodness. No.
Oh, male actor in a drama, Lee Young-jae is nominated. Okay, and he's fantastic and deserves it. So.
No, there's season 2 is coming soon to a streaming service near us. I think they announced a season 2 of that. So I'm curious to see where they take it. But this is one of the things that I love about streaming is being able to bring foreign language series into people's homes and getting these, global, actors in front of American audiences like this with really solid performances. Yes.
Succession is another one I'm not watching. I haven't seen it. I'm told it's amazing. And Brian in the chat room has a great comment that I'm sort of hearing that Succession crushing it so hard might get Godfathered and split too many votes. Are you guys Succession fans?
No.
It's
hard to be fans of a show where every character is a horrible
Everybody's
person.
the worst. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, but I watched many episodes, and then the swearing bothred me. What is with me? It was everybody had a potty mouth, and I was like, it's just the lowest common denominator. Be creative.
So I thought maybe it was because they were at professional level.
Right, and then the phone rang, and it was the kettle calling Mandy and calling her black.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
I was going to say,
is Mandy.
Are you sure it's not about you losing? You thought you were at a professional level. You realize you're only at amateur level status compared to these people on Succession. Is that you aspire to be the professional level of potty mouth? Is that
Steve? No, the other Mandy's the potty mouth.
Oh, okay.
I swear sometimes, but not a lot.
You do your fair share. I mean,
hey, thanks. And just like that, leading ladies are the same age as the characters in Golden Girls. This is like the thing that's breaking the internet this week, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You have feelings about that. I know Steve posted, but I felt like he was chumming the water.
I was following up to our Betty White conversation in Golden Girls from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve.
It was really good.
Yeah, I wanted to bring it back around.
Thank you. I mean, don't you have feelings about it? It is crazy that society has changed so much that a woman in her 50s used to be allowed to age gracefully and with killer shoulder pads and hairspray. And now it's like they are still sexualized and pressured to look young.
Yeah. And, I don't know. I mean, I think that I feel like the second article that Steve posted, the Today Show link, was actually really good and super balanced because, yes, it is shocking, Sex and the City and, and the Golden Girls. Oh, it's so shocking. And then you look at people like Rob Lowe and Wilford Brimley at the same age, and you look at,
yes,
I mean, those were, it's not just the women. Like, our standards of beauty and aging, Denzel Washington and Mickey Rooney. I mean, stunning expectations.
Is Stamos
of
in
age.
That article?
Right. Stamos is mostly fake right now. Like, he's just, Sandra Bullock and Ann Davis, Alice from Brady Bunch.
Andy Davis?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Andy
she was
Davis.
43.
Yeah.
She was 43 when she started that role.
No way. I didn't
Yes.
read the second article. Oh, I'm gonna do that.
It's crazy.
Mandy, George Clooney and Jim Backus, 53 years old, and then cut to Gilligan's Island. I mean,
yes,
crazy. It is just crazy. And you don't need me to tell you that George Clooney is tight. His skin is amazing, Clooney.
Wow.
So,
Pete, do you need a minute?
maybe you two carry on.
Yeah. But Steve, what are your thoughts about this? The way society has changed.
So I'm looking at it differently, and I'm wondering if it's that advances in medical, science and nutrition and all of that are basically slowing down the aging process. Is it preservatives in the foods? Is it plastics in the water? Is it all of that? Is it that we have access to medical care where, and we're aware of the dangers of things of like being out in the sun all the time and smoking and drinking, and that we're not. But I think it is a discussion that you have to balance out with the expectations, particularly now with social media of like, oh, look at these women in their 50s. If you're a woman in your 50s and you're still not hot like the women there, then, we're setting expectations and standards, as you said.
Yeah.
So it is there's two sides to it. But I think, there's that whole thing that, I think with the baby boomers, with technology and, wanting to live longer and stay young longer, just a mindset shift happened also of it's possible to live an active, fun life into your 50s, 60s, and 70s. It's not like, you look at this topic first came up when George Clooney turned 50 and people were like, Wilford Brimley was 50 when he starred in Cocoon. You're never going to get any older and you're never going to die. And it was a group of people that were like, they were old and life had no meaning for them. And now they get this youthfulness through the alien craft or whatever. It's like, we don't need the aliens, Ron Howard, where everybody in their 50s is already young.
Right. Weren't they in a home though in Cocoon? Didn't they live in like a retirement village?
Yeah, they were in a community.
Yes, exactly.
And Wilford Brimley was 50?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that factually
he may
accurate?
have been he may have been playing older, but it was that idea of the elderly, like, yeah, we just sort of pushed them off over here, and now I think it's forcing conversations to shift a little bit of like, we were able to live a active life much longer, and there's that expectation of like, no, just because I retired doesn't mean I have to slow down and be old.
Right.
I can still be out and have fun and all of these things, and it's very much a shift, but as you said, there is that expectation that also gets set with that of, do you live up to these ideals?
We need to meet in the middle, right?
We do.
You need to be healthy, but let your hair go white.
Yes.
Or, just not surgerize, not a word I know, not get surgery every day, but like, yeah, I don't smoke, so I have better skin and I don't go out in the sun. Like there's, but trying to look 30, like as I feel, why can't I think of her name? Kristen Davis and Sarah Jessica Parker are. It's just uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, it truly is.
But I mean, from the posters I've seen, Cynthia Nixon seems to be letting herself age a little more naturally. Is that accurate or no?
Well, she's much more. She's uniquely in the public eye in a different way in this whole other chapter of her life, her sort of political
life,
life. And so, I think she's. To me, it appears that she is walking that line between authenticity and Hollywood pretty well. So
good.
I'll take that.
Kudos, Cynthia Nixon.
Mm-hmm. She's a winner.
Yes.
Sounds like Apple TV is a winner. Pete, you want to tell us what's coming up on Apple TV?
You know how excited I get about these. I get excited about backroom deals and
about deals being inked.
Inked deals, and this one is interesting to me that it landed on Apple TV Plus. I guess I would have expected this to hit something like HBO Max, or even. Yeah, pretty much HBO Max is where I thought this would go. Apple TV lands the epic Godzilla and Titans original television series based on Legendary's Monsterverse. I'm optimistic for it because I really enjoyed the visuals in some of the recent Godzilla movies, and even if the movies I didn't care for as a whole, I think they are works of art that look really cool. And I'm not as optimistic about it because it comes from Chris Black, who had some struggles as showrunner with Star Trek Enterprise. I didn't watch Outcast, but he's going to be running the show. However, Matt Fraction, along with Safe House Pictures, Joby Harold and Tori Tunnel with Toho Company in Japan. Matt Fraction is the big name behind Hawkeye, and that does give me promise. So it's a real mixed bag with my emotional connection to this property. It could be really great. It also could be season 3 of Enterprise. But it does pick up in universe right after Godzilla versus Kong 2021 release. And so we should get the same monsters, an expansion of the same monsters. It's a story of a family trying to figure out how to make their way in a universe in which monsters exist. And I love the big monster movies. I like the surprises. So I'm a big fan of the big furry punchy squishy, and I'll take it.
Doesn't that foreshadow our lists coming up?
Well, I think so. And that's kind of why I was excited to talk about this, because
But you're going to have
the
to wait,
record
my
has
friend.
started. Okay.
Yes. Any thoughts on the Apple TV Godzilla and Titans, Steve? Are you going to watch it?
Yes. I probably I'll give it a little sampling to see how I feel about it. I'm intrigued by the idea that they're building this around that secret organization known as Marnock. So it gives them something to hang this story on versus, oh, we've just got a bunch of monsters out in the world. There's something they can do with this, as they describe it. The series explores one family's journey to uncover its buried secrets and a legacy linking them to the secret organization known as Monarch. So we've got some character here piece. So we can tell some story about this family. It'll be how much of a balance they can strike between those two, because people are going to want to show up for the big, what did Pete call it? Punchy, squishy, squishy. And if there's too much of that and not enough character, then okay, it feels hollow. But if we skew too much towards the family and the character and are hiding the monsters too much, then it can get boring and slow and people are going to tune it out. So I hope they can find that nice balance, because there is a lot of potential there. We'll see how well they can execute on that if they have a good concept to drive this story forward.
I think it's promising that Apple TV is looking to spend a ton of money on these things, right? I mean, it's not like they held back with Foundation. That was a wonderful series, and every dollar seemed to show on screen. So I think there's promise. It feels to me like it might be in good hands. So
It's almost like the reverse of when reality TV hit its peak, maybe 15 years ago, before streamers, but when cable was, the Duggar family and the Kate Plus 8 and the Octomom and all of these things. It was like, it is so cheap to produce those shows that they can just spit them out. And now it's like, we've swung in the other way where quality actually means something, and they're going to put a lot of money into something to get big names and make something look good. So it's nice to see for creative types.
Well, and speaking of expectations, right? I think our expectations now with streaming are that the same, that we achieve the same spectacle that we would expect on the big stream, and we expect it at home now. And so I think that's promising. I think it's great.
I agree. No controversy here. I will not disagree with you. Shall we dive into our trailers?
And how?
Well,
Mr. A24 goes first, doesn't he?
I know, isn't that fantastic? Did you see that? I almost did not, because of course, I was gonna pick the Moon Knight trailer. And that would have been my Oscar Isaac trailer. And then I came into the rundown and saw that Mandy had already beaten me with the trailer pick. And so I went with A24. And I don't think you can lose with an A24 horror porn. I'm talking about X.
And my wife, Pearl, is next door. So I would appreciate a little discretion.
He don't know what we're doing, does he?
Well, it's better to beg for forgiveness than ask for permission.
Would you like to come inside?
Much obliged.
I want to be in the movie.
Well, you can't.
The story can't just change midway through.
If Daddy catches us, there's no telling what he might do.
My wife is not well. It happens after dark.
X tells the story of a group of pornographic filmmakers and actors looking for a set. They find a reclusive elderly couple in an old farmhouse, and they say things like, "Ain't nobody else out there as famous like you," to people like Brittany Snow and Jenna Ortega, who are in this movie. But it turns out, no, it's not just a story of young people making porn. It's a story of an old horror lady and her husband and the mysteries that abound as they are torn to pieces. the porno people. I don't know what is to come of it, but I saw this trailer written and directed by Ty West. I got very excited. Ty West is a controversial figure for me. He was, of course, in You're Next. He did not write or direct it, but I did not care for You're Next, much to the chagrin of the rest of the film board back in the day. But he is behind a number of other properties that I'm kind of excited about. Wayward Pines, the Scream Show. I think he directed an episode of the Scream Show. He's directed some Wayward Pines, Outcast, The Resident, Tales from the Loop, Them, all properties that are that come with some acclaim. So I feel like it might be a mixed bag, but I sure did like the look of this trailer. What'd you guys think?
Well, I'm going to start because I felt like, because I got my trailer in first, perhaps you wrote, produced, directed, edited, and released this trailer just to put the A24 logo on it and get it out before mine. To which I say, Noted. Well played. Well played, Pete Wright. I found it very muddied, and maybe that's intentional, that it started off like, oh, it's like a weird Manson family. They're all in a van. They find a ranch. They're going to make a porn. I get where this is going. It's all going to be, just sex and grit and dirt and Southern accents and everybody trying to sound like Matthew McConaughey. Then it turned into a horror film with the crazy lady who just seems to be like that Beetlejuice tiny head floating on a weird body. And then I was like intrigued by that, but also felt like, what is this? So there's nothing about it that makes me want to see it necessarily. But if people raved about it, I would. And I like Brittany Snow. I like her a lot.
That's what I thought. I thought if there's going to be any entry point to this movie for Mandy, it's going to be Brittany Snow.
There she is.
Steve, what'd you think?
Steve?
So what is it got? It's got a 5.5 on IMDb.
Steve, why did you look there, man?
Why? Because with Mandy, I was along for the ride on this. I thought, okay, it's playing with these tropes because, yeah, we've got to isolate them off in the wilderness so that they're away and then weird things can happen. But then it would have been just enough, I guess, if it was just crazy old folks. But there seems to be some weird supernatural thing going on that I just don't get and don't understand why that's necessary of what this is trying to do. Because I always appreciate horror that sort of elevates or has something to say, some type of commentary. This just seems to just be playing around in, 70s exploitation ground and isn't bringing anything new or saying anything new. I could be wrong, and the trailer's trying to lean heavily into those expectations, and maybe it'll subvert them, but I'm not optimistic about that.
Preach,
I think it's
Steve,
just
preach.
Yeah. Whatever.
So way to bring it, Pete. Sure, you went first and you got brought a bad movie. That's fine. Just admit it.
It's a big swing. I might have brought a bad movie, but listen, I have a little bit more faith, and I'm in the cycle to see all the A24 movies. So I'm working on it, and this is going to be part of it. Might as well share it with the world. There you go. X. When can you see it? That's a great question. March 18th, 2022. Looks like it's a spring break movie.
Oh, man, I have to wait that long to not see this movie?
Right.
Exactly.
Got it.
Well, I chose a limited series instead of a movie. And this is a first for me. It's the first Shondaland show that has me very excited. I am a well-known avoider of all things Shonda Rhimes. But this is called Inventing Anna.
I might have a story. Her name is Anna Delvey, or Anna Sorokin. No one's sure. She's either a rich German heiress or she's flat broke. The charges are insane.
Anna committed real white-collar felonies while posing as a socialite in an attempt to steal millions of dollars.
Hi, Anna. I just had some questions.
I have a question. What's you wearing? You look poor.
She is everything that is wrong with America right now.
I hear I'm famous. People are painting a public picture of me as some criminal. That's not my story.
And what is your story?
I'm a cold piece. Anna came to New York, no rich parents, no connections. Sometimes you gotta fake it till you make it.
Now we get to the good part.
Can I take your order? I'ma serve them what they want.
Anna is a legend around here. You have to work hard to get what you want. I've always known that.
Starring Julia Garner, who I think is extraordinarily talented, yet I want to punch her and I don't know why. And she looks like Justin Timberlake. Anna Klumsky, who I love, and Anna Devere Smith, who I idolize. So this is the story of apparently, would you say Machiavellian, this young lady who poses as a socialite and commits all these crimes and gets caught. And she has a crazy accent, as you just heard. And I'm into it because it looks like it's going to try and take down some of that Paris Hilton Kardashian,
yeah. Did you follow the reels? Did you follow the true story?
No, I know nothing.
So Anna Sorokin was the Russian. She was originally Russian. She was convicted of fraud in Germany. I mean, she ran the table between 2013 and 2017. She pretended to be Anna Delvey, this German heiress, and she ended up with spending time in prison and these huge fines, and she was deported in Germany, and the stories of her fraud are legion. And so I'm almost sure there was a podcast about it, because why wouldn't there be a podcast about a story like this? It's an incredible story, and absolutely worth checking out. I am fascinated about this series. I hope that it does justice to the level of her duplicity, because she's a fascinating character and evildoer.
And I love the music in that trailer. Oh, that was great. It was a great trailer. Paced well, got me into it, left enough to the imagination. What'd you think, Steve?
I'm excited about this type of thing because I don't know. I love interesting characters like this. I felt like, are we going to have another discussion about weird accents again on this show? But I'm willing to let it go because I don't know. It reminded me a lot of the Bling Ring, again, of young people, this whole lure of like fame and wealth and just like, okay, rules of society, don't care. I'm going to just play this game to the best of my ability and ride this wave as long as I can. So I'm really interested to see sort of getting to know this character. I love that it's sort of a limited series because it tells me that we're going to spend some time with these characters, getting into the story a little bit more. This is, I love when a limited series will do that. Right now I'm working my way through Dope Sick, which is, as a limited series, it's like you can take your time to tell a story and tell it well, rather than trying to cram something like this into like a 2-hour biopic where you're just really shortchanging everything. So I'm really excited about this.
She was just released from Albion Correctional Facility in February of 2021, so she's out of prison.
Spoiler alert!
I know, and which is fascinating. You know who else she was in prison with? Well, I don't know if she was in. No, this would have been a different time. But she was her prison was also prison to Long Island Lolita Amy Fisher.
Oh okay. Wow!
So noted inmate of Albion Correctional Facility.
Why do I feel like that's a reality show people would watch? The two of those just teaming up to see what happens.
Absolutely.
Brought to you by the Roku channel.
Yeah.
Or Quibi. That would be a Quibi. Right.
With Paris Hilton and Nikki, The Simple Life.
The Simple Life.
Oh, yes. Right.
Yeah. Very simple life.
I have to tell you.
Orange jumpsuits. When you are ready to check it out, it is being released on Netflix February 11th. What'd you got, Steve?
I got something stupid, ridiculous, fun to bring because this is a type of film that I don't know how to classify it. It just seems like a lot of fun. This is Studio 666.
Foo Fighters, you gotta get me a record.
It's our 10th album. We gotta break the mold on this one. Let's go somewhere we've never been.
This place is amazing.
Do you guys get this overwhelming sense of death? Whoa. Doesn't really seem like the right fit. Whoa, that's rad. That was weird. The sound of this house is the sound of album 10.
All right, you guys. Amps, living room.
Let me apologize in advance for all the rock we're about to make.
Got a couple of ideas I've been working on. I'll lay them on you. Dude, wait.
It's called Everlong, and you wrote it about 20 years ago.
So, I don't know if you're Foo Fighters fans. I don't know if you're Dave Grohl fans, but there's just something about the heart of this film and that just makes me laugh and smile that you can make a movie about. When was the last time we had like rock stars or a rock band playing themselves in a movie? It seems very 70s or something, right?
The Monkees, the Beatles.
Yes,
Oh, stop.
exactly.
Somebody, intern, please make a note. This is list candidate for next week.
Oh, I'm making a note.
All right.
I already have ideas. I'm on fire.
Okay,
Yeah.
there we go. I mean, this just, I love Dave Grohl. The fact that, the story is, hey, they've got to make their 10th album. And so they move into this house that is clearly haunted with all kinds of evil things. And it's going to play with the horror and the gore, but it's still in a lighthearted way. I'm finding myself laughing at this in all the best ways. So
I actually would have picked this trailer, but I saw just the logo and Dave Grohl's face, and I thought, well, that's a joke. Maybe it's probably just a teaser for their next album, and I didn't even press play. I am so excited that this movie exists. I don't care how great it is, because the trailer might actually have been enough of an artifact of the story for me, just to know that it's out there and that he's in it. Okay, I'll send him $10. I'll spend the money for the streaming, but I just love that it exists. It looks fun and frivolous and stupid and honestly, one of my great internet loves is to surf YouTube for audience footage of Dave Grohl bringing children up from his audiences in concerts and letting them play the drums. Those are so good. Like I don't know how he does it, but he's just such a generous human being that I don't know. I don't have enough great things to say about, or I have too many great things to say about Dave Grohl and Foo Fighters and what they do to fill the show. So I'm excited about it. I'm totally in for it. So stupid that I didn't even watch the trailer until you picked it.
Well, I used to live in his neighborhood and see him all the time. And he is such a regular guy, always with his kids, always just no ego, just out at a burger place. He really seems to just be a man of the people. So I've always had a soft spot. I'm not a huge Foo Fighters fan, but I thought that this movie was that thing like that I loved as a kid, like the Monkees, or when famous people would play themselves on Scooby-Doo, or like, it's really mocking fame and ego and all of those things. And yet, maybe we'll actually be freaky, but it looked more like a comedy to me. And I really enjoyed the trailer. I liked it. I want to see it.
Well, people can watch this horror comedy type thing when it comes out in theaters February 25th, 2022.
Love it.
Excellent work. Excellent. Are we ready for a game? Games. So, Squid Games.
Squid Games? Oh, no.
Oh, God. Through a whole podcast, Steve. I mispronounced it. Through a whole podcast. Yeah. Is my internet glitching?
No,
you're good. You're good. I was just wondering if you were mispronouncing squid or game and how you would mispronounce either of those words.
I called it Squid Games with it, Keanu Reeves.
Okay.
Okay. So last time I hosted, which was 2 weeks ago, there was much discussion about how many movies Mandy hasn't seen or won't see or knows nothing about, and how she doesn't really seem to enjoy movies at all. So I have titled this game, Have I Seen It or Not?
No.
These are all major, huge movies that everyone in the world has seen. But have I? It is up to you two to decide. And you are going to work as a team. I'm going to name a movie. You only have 30 to 40 seconds, gentlemen.
Oh,
30,
okay.
30 to 40.
It can't go on and on to decide, has Mandy seen this?
Okay. Is there any sort of criteria you can give us? Like, can you give us any sort of mulch for the field to let us know?
These are movies. Yeah, these are movies that come up at dinner parties that people refer to as like, oh, I've seen it 1,000 times. And then they look at me and I go, I've never seen it. And then everyone goes, oh, you've never seen it?
Yeah.
That's what these movies are.
Okay.
So you know.
I'm worried that my gut is just going to be no. Mandy's never seen this movie.
They could all be no's, guys. You don't know.
It could be.
All
We
right.
just gotta, Pete. We gotta watch out for like the obvious clues. Like, was Sandra Bullock related to the any aspect of this movie? Yes.
Sandra
So we
Bullock
got that
adjacent
factor.
films. That's what we're looking for. All right.
Exactly.
All right.
There we go.
I'm so multifaceted. Here we go. Have I seen it or not? Citizen Kane.
Oh, wow! She's bringing out the big guns.
I know.
on that one.
I think the answer is going to be no. I think
Is it
the
going to
answer
be
is no?
Is it going to be she started it and fell asleep, so that counts as a no? Would that be?
Does that count?
No, I'm adding complications unnecessarily. I say we go with no. We go with no.
I think it's old. It's old and black and white and scratchy, and she's going to say it's overrated.
Yep.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, that's the final answer. Answer is
yes.
no.
I've seen it many times.
What?
Oh,
what?
I love
many times?
Yeah.
What?
Old and scratchy and beautiful, and I love it.
Okay.
Well, okay. All right, fine.
And
So
just
we're
to
off
prove
to a
it,
terrible
it's
start.
a sled.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
You could have found that on Reddit.
Okay. What about The Exorcist?
Man, now I feel like my game is totally thrown. Because
it's all scary, gross. You know, that's not her thing. We know that. She's not a big fan of the creepy horror stuff. This one's too dark and disturbing, I think, for her with supernatural craziness.
She did watch Squid Games. Oh man,
That doesn't have spinning heads and children, and I think it's a no. But
really, okay, I'm going to go with you on this, Steve. But our friendship may part ways.
Okay,
I need an answer, gentlemen.
The answer is no.
It is my favorite scary movie of all time. I've seen it many times.
Oh my gosh.
My pencil is taking the day off over here.
Pete, could you cue up some of those studio music cues? Because I think I'd do better on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the logo game. You liked that, right?
Yeah, the logo. Yeah. No, but it's better than this. Oh my gosh.
All right, here we go. There's always redemption.
Right. Yeah.
Top Gun.
Okay. See, this is one that I think I would have expected her to start with Top Gun.
Yeah.
In this quiz, I think she threw us with The Exorcist and Citizen Kane. I think the answer is yes. She meant to shake the trees a little bit. She meant to put us off our balance, and I think she's seen Top Gun.
I think she has to.
All right, we're going to go with a yes.
We go with yes.
I have never seen Top Gun.
Oh, for crying out loud.
I know.
When you were a teenager, wasn't it like on cable TV all the time?
Screw cable TV. Really Did you not have friends who dragged you to movies?
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't have cable growing up. My mom waited till I went to college and then ordered it the day I moved out. And that's not a lie. Because she hated me. I've never seen Top Gun. No interest.
Wow. Okay.
No interest?
No interest. Face Off.
Okay.
Face Off. See, I feel like that would be something that like Tommy would have made her watch for some reason as research for 30 nights, I think.
I don't know that I stick with that. That I truck with that logic, Steve. I don't know that it makes sense at all.
No, it doesn't. But nothing about this game makes sense for us, Pete. So we're in the mirror dimension now, Pete. All rules are gone.
Boy, that's the truth. The problem is it's a Nicolas Cage movie, right?
Yes,
that's really the complicating factor, because there is a bit of, I think, subversive glee that Mandy is going to get in telling us how much she loves Face Off. And so I worry
I'm going to need an answer, gentlemen.
Oh, for crying out loud, there's too much pressure. What do you think, Steve? Are you a no? Are you a hard no?
No, I'm a yes. I'm going to go yes.
Okay, we're going to go yes,
Yeah.
Mandy. Final answer.
I've seen Face Off. That's your final answer?
Yes.
Yes, that is correct.
I love Face Off.
Oh, yay. So we got one right.
And I do get glee telling you that. Thank you.
Outstanding.
Yes. Yep. What about Animal House?
Oh.
I think that's a no. I think that's a no.
You think that's a no?
Yeah,
you don't
I think that's an easy one to have missed.
True. All right. I'll let you take the lead on that one. I'll go along with this.
Andy?
We say no. You have not seen Animal House.
I have not seen Animal House.
Okay.
All right.
All right. That's good. That's
Two
a good reset.
in a row, guys. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's great. How egotistical is this game on a scale of 1 to All About Mandy?
It is enormously
Yeah.
egotistical. Yes.
Yeah.
No, this is the Mandy Kaplan narcissist game of fame. Is
there we go.
Okay. What about a little known film called Fight Club?
Oh.
Wow. Can I phone a friend? I feel like
I couldn't have done this with Tommy on the show.
No. I was gonna
Yeah.
text Marlon.
Yeah.
Or Parlin, yeah.
Let's see. Fight Club.
I have friends.
Fight Club, 1999. This was one that, this is one that wasn't huge in theaters and found its life on, DVD. So it was been possible for her to miss it in theaters.
I know.
It's just whether or not she caved into peer pressure of everybody's watching this on DVD.
Yeah, I worry about that. And I'm super biased because, it's one of my top 3 favorite movies. And so I feel like everyone should have seen this movie. And it would be foolish for me to assume otherwise, but I do assume that everyone has seen this movie.
Is it too bro-y for her? Too much of the bros?
There's so much bro.
Yes.
Oh, there's a lot of bro.
Have I seen it or not?
No. What do you think, Pete? What do you think, Pete?
I'm going to go with you,
No?
Steve. I'm going with you.
Okay. Yeah.
I could never watch Fight Club.
Could never watch it. Could never watch it. That's
the violence. The violence.
Yeah.
I know it's weird. I have weird hiccup or phobias and stuff. I couldn't watch that kind of violence. Oh no. How about 9 to 5?
Yes.
Oh,
yes. You've seen 9 to 5. Absolutely.
Yes.
I don't feel like we need a discussion.
You're going to think this is crazy, but I've seen it 175 times.
Yeah, of course. Of course you have. And yes, absolutely you have.
Okay. What about E.T.?
Ooh. Oh, this is a tough one. Wow, E.T. How would you possibly how do you paint a picture of a world in which Mandy, and we all share the same rough generation, Mandy would miss E.T.? What does a world look like that? I can't.
See, it's possible, but we also have to factor in then Mandy could have missed it in her youth, but as a parent, is that something that there would have been let's watch this as a family. It's a good family. I didn't see it. Let's watch this with the offspring.
That's good.
To have this experience together. So I think there's two ways of accessing this, and I'd have to say one of those had to have yielded a viewing.
I think you're right, Steve.
Right?
I'm going to go with you on this one, and I think that means our answer is yes.
This is why being a parent has ruined my life. Because yes, of course I've seen E.T. But I should have never had a kid because then you wouldn't have known that answer.
That's absolutely
I saw
true.
it many times in my youth, and I saw it now. I love it.
Okay. All right.
Let's end with, as everyone should, Schindler's List.
Ooh.
Oh, Schindler's List. I think the answer to that is yes.
You don't think the two... Well, I guess there's not a lot of violence in it, but you wouldn't know that if you hadn't seen. There is intensity, and would that have been enough for her to say, Holocaust, genocide, not something I want to go see. Too brutal, too violent. Because it kept her away from the Fight Club.
It kept her away from the Fight Club, but I think this is just a different movie. I think there is a certain importance to the whole gestalt around Schindler's List. Like, I just think there's a thing. I feel like this is one that Mandy would have said, I have to see this movie, even if it's only once. What do you think?
Final answer?
We go with, we'll say yes. Yes, you have seen it. Yes.
You are correct.
But have you only
saw
seen
Schindler's
it once?
List. You are absolutely correct. I could never watch it again.
Nailed it.
Shook
That
me to
feels
my
like
core.
a bonus point.
Yeah. And here's a fun fact. I saw it. It came out when I was in college, and I'm Jewish, and my college boyfriend was of German descent, and we went to see it together. Full circle, guys.
Wow.
Full circle.
Oh, wow.
Did you walk out together?
Saganya. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Full circle, and the circle is closed. That's good. All right.
I really just wanted to sing the Greatest American Hero theme song. So thank you for giving me that chance.
We know.
For making that dream come true.
I've already made it my ringtone.
Oh, bless your heart. All right. A couple of things I need to get off my chest. If you're not a member but would like to become one, head over to thenextreel.com/membership. The most it will cost you is $5 a month. Members get access to live streams as we record, early access to shows in your very own personal podcast feed, access to the super secret member channels in Discord, member bonus episodes, and even stickers. And if you're wondering what movies The Next Reel is going to be talking about in the coming weeks and months, you can visit our HQ page on Letterboxd, where you'll find a list of all the movies in the 2021-2022 season. And while you're there, Letterboxd is offering a discount to anyone listening to The Next Reel. Just use the code NEXTREEL at checkout, and you can upgrade your Letterboxd account to Pro or Patron with a 20% off discount. This discount also works for renewals. That is all I needed to get off my chest, guys.
Outstanding.
Oh, should we do our lists?
This was such a hard list. It was such a hard list. Yeah. What? Do you know why? Because my cup runneth over. There's so many.
Yeah.
So many. Okay. Way too many. Oh, and I get to go first. Right. That's amazing.
Suspense has been built. Let's go.
So the way I approach this, I approach this by not even so much the degree to which the creature is like best, like the creature is itself, its design is incredibly, terrifying necessarily, but more by the level of anxiety that I have carried with me since I saw this movie. Does that make sense? So there are
from
things,
a man who hosts a podcast about all his anxieties.
Yeah.
Yes.
No,
so
believe
maybe we
me,
should blame these movies.
is right across the plate for me. This list. So the first one, I'm going back in time to an anthology film in the halcyon days, the summer days of May 1987. It classified as a comedy horror anthology film from director Michael Gornick, and one of the sequences in this film is called The Raft. I'm talking about Creepshow 2. Creepshow 2.
Oh, 2.
You may not know, listeners of the show, I have a real thing about lakes, in particular lakes. I don't like lakes. I don't like swimming in lakes. I don't like the water of lakes. I don't like being on boats on lakes. I don't like anything about lakes. I don't like them. I don't like algae blooms. I don't like seaweed. Nothing.
Do you like Lake Bell?
I like Lake Bell.
Ricky Lake.
Yes. No, she's coming. Yeah, like Ricky Lake. Okay. I like Ricky Lake. So, okay.
All right.
I don't like non-human lakes. Can we say that? To specify, non-human lakes, don't care for them. This movie has 4 college kids. They're driving out in maybe high school, but they sure look like adults. And they drive out and they leave their car door open. Anxiety number 1. Why would you leave your car door open? And then you swim out to the raft that's in the middle of this lake. And the music's on. Like this, it's so stupid. And then, of course, the lake blob is not an oil slick, kids. No, it is a slow motion floating hunting machine, and it dissolves every living thing that gets into it and chases them and seeps up through the raft. It's just horrifying. And that's one that has been with me since 1987. Absolutely since 1987.
I can feel your anxiety as you talk about it.
I don't care for it. Not one single bit. So, Creepshow 2. The Raft.
All right. I went an entirely different direction. I went with children's films. And
you can't say E.T.
The first thing that occurred to me was a movie that Casey loved when he was like 6 years old. He doesn't really remember it now, which breaks my heart. It's a really good, I think it's Pixar. It's called Big Hero 6. And it was really well done. And evil inventors make these like nanobots, and they're all like these little scientific black chips that can like move on their own and suffocate a person and cover a city. And they're really cool. It was very, it was scary for Casey, who was like 6, and it was somewhat scary for me. And I was, 25. But what? Is someone laughing?
No.
But that was like, for some reason, the first thing that occurred to me was like, oh, those weird things. Steve, you've seen it?
Oh, yeah.
Big Hero 6? Yeah.
Yes. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
And dangerous. That was dangerous. This was the letter of the list. It absolutely nailed. It was the letter of the list. Non-human
and dangerous.
I'm so glad.
It makes me think my list was wrong. I hope Steve went for something that balances us out.
You be your own man, Pete. You don't need Steve to validate you.
Oh,
That's
Mandy,
right.
yes, I do.
Okay. Well, this was okay. So I looked at the subject of this and said, okay, what can I do with this? Knowing that we're hedged in a corner, I know there's a lot of things that Pete can't pick. And then I thought, let's have fun with this list. Let's do something that people may not be expecting. So I'm going to start off by saying, don't let them fool you. Paddington, Winnie the Pooh, they are a menace. They create the illusion that bears are sweet and cuddly creatures. And this leads some people to believe that these animals need protection. Or even worse, these people come to believe that after spending time out in the wild with bears, they can gain the trust of them. And if you don't believe that bears are dangerous, non-human creatures, then I suggest you watch Werner Herzog's 2005 documentary about the tragedy of Timothy Treadwell, Grizzly Man.
Steve.
All right.
Steve. Oh, Steve.
You just wanted to say
Werner
Herzog.
I did. Yes. And if I could do the accent, I would have done the accent for that.
What would Werner say?
What would Werner say?
Well,
if you're not familiar with the document, it is a heartbreaking film because this guy actually thought he was like bonding with these bears, and then the bears eat him and his girlfriend, and it's captured on camera.
Yeah.
They don't show the footage. They don't show the audio, any of that. Werner is very respectful of this, but it just highlights the point of when we anthropomorphize these animals, people think like, oh, they're cute and cuddly. And these bears, look, they're doing these things like I see them doing cartoons and in movies. And it's like, no, these are dangerous, wild creatures and don't mess with them.
I am so guilty of that. And I watch all those things where they're like, he raised this lion as a cub and now he found him again in the wild, and they run to each other to a Whitney Houston song, and I cry and I love it. But we don't see the videos of how many douchebags have tried to do that and been mauled.
Right, exactly.
They go out in the forest or the jungle and they find the creature and they get mauled by that.
Exactly.
Right. So,
awful stories. Awful.
But I will eventually die that way because I'm too trusting. I would stick my head in a tiger's mouth. I'm like the Siegfried and Roy of the podcast. Full disclosure.
Dark take. That's a dark take, but it's okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Does this
Get
mean
us
it's
out
my
of this,
turn?
Pete.
Okay. Second in my list of horror creature anxiety movies. What is it going to be? I think we're going to go to space. Because I don't care for space. And I started not caring for space when I learned that when you are weightless, your blood could actually start going the other way in your veins, like the wrong direction, because gravity has a really important role and in living. And so I don't care for space. I was already done with space. And then a little film happened in 2017 from director Daniel Espinosa. Now, Daniel Espinosa is kind of a mixed bag for me, too. I really enjoyed Safe House. That was fun. Didn't like Child 44 so much. We're on the record as not liking that. A couple years later, he directed a movie called Life. And in Life, we meet a new life form that is so cute and stringy, and then it grows, and it has a name, Calvin. It's a Calvin, the jellyfish space octopus monster, and as it grows, it becomes like a space blob, and it eats everything. There is a scene when Calvin is wrapping around an astronaut as the astronaut is trying to get back into the International Space Station, and Calvin breaks the coolant something on the spacesuit, and the space suit starts filling up in the helmet, and the astronaut is drowning in space because the coolant in the helmet, while the octopus jellyfish is circling around and we just going all around the spacesuit, and it's gross and horrible and terrifying. And
what was this movie called?
The movie is called Life.
Okay.
The movie is called Life from 2017, and it is I just want to say this. It's not a great movie, right? It's not a great movie. It's better than Child 44, but it's not great. It has a great creature. I really enjoyed what they did with Calvin. It is a nightmare octopus jellyfish creature. I've just added nightmare to it. The nightmare octopus jellyfish creature. I don't care for it. Rebecca Ferguson, Jake Gyllenhaal, Ryan Reynolds. It's a movie that you haven't heard of, Mandy, because it came and went very, very fast in 2017. Yeah. So there it is.
Doesn't sound like one for me.
Calvin. Oh, Calvin's the worst. And it's kind of like that, actually. They do that because they do that thing. Oh, it's so cute. We're learning so much about this creature in life. And oh, God, why is it eating your face?
Okay. Deep breaths. Go to your happy place. My next one has all of it right there in the title. And I know we've talked about it on the podcast before, but I forgot about that rule. And this was the second one that occurred to me. And Casey helped me with this list. It is Mitchell's versus the Machines.
Oh, great.
Oh, yes.
Great. Yes. Great movie.
Love the movie. And it is scary to think of our technology taking over.
Oh, destroying all of humanity.
Yep.
And enslaving it. Yes, exactly.
We're looking at you, Meta.
I'm sensing a theme here with Mandy's non-human creatures of destruction. Okay.
What you got?
All right, Steve.
I've got when catastrophes happen and we want to describe the epic scale, we often say it's of biblical proportions. So I bring a destructive animal of biblical proportions, truly Old Testament destruction, because how cruel is it to bash in William H. Macy's face with a rain of frogs in 1999's Magnolia?
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Yeah, there's another one. Nope. Cue the new anxiety. Didn't even think about Rain of Frogs.
You could just be walking down the street and just, bam, there they go.
There they go. It's all about the frogs. Well, that was easy.
All right, Pete.
Is it my turn? The last one?
Keep doing your deep breathing. I'm worried about you.
This is the worst. This is the worst. Ed Yong is a fantastic science Pulitzer Prize winning science journalist. And he's wonderful. He's been doing some incredible work during COVID, but he won the Pulitzer, his first of many Pulitzers before that. He also wrote a book called I Contain Multitudes, The Microbes Within Us and a Grander View of Life. and it tells the story of the tens of trillions of microbes of the biome that exists inside your body that you can't live without. Well, that's a true thing. Like, this is a science book. It's not fiction, and it's horrible.
It's not scary, right?
No, it is terrifying. No. It's freaking terrifying, Steve. It's like we're made up of some 40 pounds of us is actually biome of microbes and disgust and filth. And I don't like thinking about it that much, which brings me to Steven Spielberg. In 2005, Steven Spielberg did an adaptation of a classic tale of horror and ended it with Morgan Freeman saying essentially the premise of Ed Young's book. In the end, what took down the alien creatures was the billions of microbes that we live with every day. That's right, it's War of the Worlds. The aliens were killed by our own microbes. I'm talking about microbes, the non-human animal creature that is horrifying. Microbes. Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds.
All right.
Yes. All right. Yes.
Well, just because I am following a theme, my last animated children's movie with non-human dangerous creatures came out, I think, in 2016, I want to say, starring the voice of Jim Parsons and Steve Martin and Rihanna, and it was called Home, and it was not good, but my kid loved it, so I had to watch it 100 times, and it's about aliens trying to take over the world again.
But wait a minute, you didn't like that one?
Not really.
Huh. I thought the alien was super cute, right? Didn't we like that? He was, can I come into the outside now? That was that one?
I did not see that one. No. I'm just disappointed because I thought
was cute, but
I was expecting more technology in this one. I thought Mandy was going with an all tech theme
animated.
I know all animated, but I thought you were going to layer it up. You're going to up the game.
Well, there's a lot of technology in that.
Yes, with aliens, yes.
Casey wanted me to put Ron Gone Wrong, but I couldn't sit through it, so I couldn't talk about it with any sense of knowledge.
I haven't seen that one yet, so we're not crazy about that.
No, no, but that's Casey's. He was pretty proud of himself because it was tech and animated. So he's smarter than I am. All right, Steve, bring us home.
Okay. The absolute worst is the cold-hearted killer. The one that disposes of human life without a care or concern for its victims. A creature that will arrogantly go about its business, causing its prey to divert its path into a precarious position, and then our heartless creature will stare them in the eye, revealing its cold, dead heart, and casually drop them into the cold waters below when you are the dog in Beetlejuice.
That's so dramatic.
Deadly, non-human creature kills Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis heartlessly by stepping off of a beam of wood, plummeting that car off the bridge. It's horrible.
I don't
horrible
know if
creature.
I would say heartlessly. Thoughtlessly, I'll give you. Heartlessly, really?
Yes.
Carelessly,
there's that
maybe.
look. There's that look. No, he knows what he's doing.
Maniacal Beetlejuice. I never thought. I need to rewatch the movie with that in mind. The whole, Danny LaRusso rewatch of Beetlejuice with the dog being the antagonist. I never saw that coming.
Yes.
All right.
Did anybody have any alternates?
What didn't make the list? Yeah, well, the Blob, but I went with Calvin. Just Attack the Block is a fantastic movie, and in it there are gorilla wolf-looking creatures that are so beautifully, I think, articulated in this movie. They're completely black. Like moving shadow monsters, but their mouths glow in the dark, like old school, and they open. It's just full of teeth. So you get these creatures running that have just open mouths. They're really horrifying, and they're called. They don't really have a name, and coming out of the movie, they're called gorilla wolf mother effers, and that's just their canonical name. I thought those were really good, and then I asked Andy for a little bit of advice because there were so many. And I thought, let's go back to our aquatic killers movies that we talked about on the show. Were there any giant holes that he felt like I should make sure that we fill here? And the one that he and I agreed most violently on that we missed and must record a show on is 1980's Alligator, in which they flush the tiny alligator down the toilet and it becomes a 36-foot creature that's destroying New York. And so that was a big one for us. That's all of mine.
There you go.
I thought of Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh,
but not animated.
That's a good one.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's why it didn't make my list. It was like one of my first thoughts, and then I bumped it to my alternate spot.
Okay.
Steve, any alternates?
No, because I received much help with my list, and we got into a ridiculous theme of like the unsuspecting killers in these movies, and I got those 3 and said, I'm good.
Right. Done. So for next week, I know that our secretary who was taking minutes wrote down rock stars playing themselves based on the Dave Grohl Foo Fighters movie.
The Dave Grohl list.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Yes.
Other ideas I had were directors directing their spouses or signitigant others.
That's a good
I love
one
that
too.
one too. That's a great list. I wonder,
that is a good.
Do I know enough? I guess the internet helps. Oh,
the internet can help you with that. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
So it's just directors directing their significant others. We don't have to get into the sexy times part of it, right? Okay.
Probably a bonus if there's,
I will.
if they had to.
There will be. Yes.
You don't
okay.
have to, but especially sex scenes or nude scenes of some sort. The other one that I wrote down was awards movies. Not movies that win awards, but movies about awards in some way, shape, or form.
Oh, about people winning an award?
Or trying to win an award or something like that. So that's what I had on my list.
Oh.
I don't know that I like it as much as either of the other two there, but it's out there.
Well, what do you guys think?
Well, Pete doesn't get a vote in this one because he's on next week, it looks like.
Crud. Okay, you're right.
Yeah. So we got to figure so you got Pete, Tommy, and Rob next week. So what do we,
Rock
Pete gets
stars playing themselves might be more fun. Just, fun references and fun movies.
Because because you get cameos that can happen. It's not like the whole main story that gives them.
Yeah.
It gives you something fun to do. Yeah.
All right.
I think we can do that. There we go.
Okay.
So how are we phrasing that? Rock stars playing themselves. That's it. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that was
Keep
easy.
It simple.
We didn't need to really.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we don't
need to litigate this.
No.
You're right. I'm sorry. I'll back away.
Anything you guys want to plug?
Well, I'll just say in terms of the next real show, we're in the middle of, we're about to continue our story of journalist movies, which is really fun. And so I'm excited about the movies that we are talking about right now. We finished our Anne Hui series, and now we're doing in the middle of some journalist stuff. It's a short series, but it's fun all the same.
Great. And Steve?
JJ and I are cooking up a new batch of Trailer Rewind that may not be called Trailer Rewind. We're switching things up, and we may go with a new title on this as well. Yes. So we're meeting and discussing and coming up with some fun ideas of the next phase of this show, Trailer Rewind. So that's what we've got in the works. So this spring, coming to a podcast device of your choosing. So we've got some work to do on structure, and we started building out the lists of movies that we'll be getting out there, but still a project in gestation, but we're working on it, so that'll keep an eye out.
Very excited.
And as always, you can hear me co-hosting The Man Cave with Mandy Fabian. New episodes drop every Monday, and Squid Game was a fun episode, so I would check that one out.
Squid's Game?
Most recent.
Squid's Game? Squid's Games.
Steve, I'm having technical difficulties. I can't hear you, Steve.
Yay, sports ball.
I just love it when Mandy hosts the Saturday's matinees. Oh,
the Saturday matinees is fun.
Keeping it rolling.
Ouch. Being in part of this family, I do feel like I have just a bunch of big brothers, and I like it. All right, we are signing off, so I will say stay safe out there. Steve?
Hondos.
I can't do any better than that. Thanks, everybody. Smash that like button. Smash it, like and subscribe.